Hi, I'm Fletcher Camino. Welcome to Bombs Away. Today on Bombs Away, I'm going to be doing a video on one of my favorite movies, certainly my favorite action film. Everybody I know knows that it's my favorite action film because I talk about it all the time, but I've never really done a video on it. So today I'm going to be breaking down a list of reasons of why I love the movie Mission Impossible Fallout. Fallout was released in 2018 and it was directed by Christopher McQuarrie. It's the second film in the franchise to be directed by McQuarrie after Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. It's the sixth film in the Mission Impossible franchise overall, which is one of my favorite franchises in terms of action. But this film, in my personal opinion, is the best. I suppose I should start with the most obvious thing that I love about this movie, and that is the action sequences. It's become a staple of the Mission Impossible series to make action sequences with minimal visual effects, especially true since the fourth entry, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. All these action sequences are totally real as far as they could go. Tom Cruise is doing his own stunts. Watch behind the scenes featurettes if you want to get all the information, but it's just pretty astounding what they managed to do for real in this movie. The action sequences, unlike other films like Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation, aren't constant. They're broken up and there's a lot of intervals, which I'll talk about in a moment. But it allows the movie to flow more easily, and it seems like it just goes very smoothly from action sequence to action sequence. And in true Mission Impossible style, the final action sequence is the best one. That features a helicopter chase through the mountains of Kashmir while there's a nuclear bomb about to go off. It's just insane. It's absolutely astounding what they did with that final action sequence. So yes, the action is definitely the most definitive part of the movie, and it is the part which is obviously the part which everyone pays most attention to. But there are other aspects to this movie that make it unique and better, frankly, than the other installments in the franchise. All due respect to the rest of the Mission Impossible franchise, they have, after Mission Impossible 2, just become nothing but action movies. The first one was, the first time I watched it, I sort of thought, this is not enough action, really, it's just more of a thriller. But then Mission Impossible 2 came in, which I consider to be the weakest part of the franchise, and it was just basically all action. Mission Impossible 3, again, all action. Ghost Protocol, not much better. When Christopher McQuarrie came in Rogue Nation, it represented a change, a return back to the heist thriller origins of the first movie. It had tons of action, Rogue Nation, absolutely incredible, tons of action, and it still remains my second favorite film of this franchise. But in terms of emotion, it just doesn't quite equal Fallout. And the reason for this is that Fallout is an intensely personal film. Ethan Hunt, who's portrayed by Tom Cruise, is often just sort of really just an action hero, a fantastic action hero who's basically unbeatable and does all of these impossible things. He's not really depicted as a very human character. In Rogue Nation, Christopher McQuarrie wrote in quite a few moments to make Tom Cruise seem more human, basically. But still, this didn't really quite take hold until Fallout. Fallout is an intensely personal film to the character of Ethan Hunt. Simply because it's an attack on him. The rest of the films in the Mission Impossible franchise are about the world in danger and Ethan needs to save it, and indeed that is a certain part of Mission Impossible Fallout. But what is really the driving force of the plot is the incredible villain Solomon Lane, brilliantly portrayed by Sean Harris. Solomon Lane's attack on Ethan. This is personal now, to quote the slogan for Jaws 3. Solomon Lane is going directly for where it hurts Hunt most. Going for his wife, trying to kill Hunt, going for Rebecca Ferguson's character. This is really, it really tests Hunt emotionally to the limit. And from the very start of the film, it's a lot grittier. You can see the influence of, for example, the Daniel Craig Bond films, such as Spectre and Skyfall. It's a very personal movie for the character of Ethan Hunt, and it's just done brilliantly. The writing is excellent. And there's an incredible monologue by Solomon Lane. He seems to be in the clutches of the IMF agents, but he is talking directly to Ethan Hunt, and he's saying that he has the power, and it's just such an incredibly written scene that it throws the audience off balance. They're suddenly like, whoa, what's going on here? And it really is an incredible film, and it is, you're really, at the end of the film, you're really rooting specifically for Ethan, not for the team, not for the mission to succeed, but for Ethan to survive. That's the main point of this film. And I'm guessing that even though the villain is going to be different in the next two films, the Dead Reckoning, both parts of Dead Reckoning, I think they're going to be very personal films as well, and I can't wait to see what Christopher McQuarrie comes up with next. I just can't wait for Dead Reckoning Part 1. I'm mentioning it every video because I just cannot wait. It's going to be agonizing, this 2-month wait, but my brother and I will be reviewing Dead Reckoning as soon as it comes out, so stay tuned for that. Another reason why I love Mission Impossible Fallout is the congealing of the team. In a lot of earlier installments, especially Ghost Protocol, it was obvious that other members of the team were just there to flesh out the group. In this movie, the team is really a super group, basically, and they all have their own strengths, they all have their own weaknesses, they have their own firmly established characters. You have Tom Cruise, who is of course the leader of the team and the star of the movie, but he is equaled by Rebecca Ferguson, who complements his character very well by having her own strengths. And then Simon Pegg, the tech guy, is also comic relief kind of, but again he has his own things which only he can do, and so he's a very important asset to the team, as is Ving Rhames' character, who was the tech guy from earlier installments, but he's also very, very important to this movie, and he has his own stuff to do. And Henry Cavill, of course, coming in, and he's basically an interesting twist on that. Every Mission Impossible movie, there's a new character coming into the team at the start, and then that character is immediately meant to fall in immediately with the team. There's some lines of dialogue, and suddenly everything just works together, and then for the rest of the movie, it's sort of like a perfect working relationship. When Henry Cavill comes in, there's already established team that featured in Rogue Nation is thrown off balance by this new person. Henry Cavill's character is like Daniel Craig's Bond in Casino Royale. He's ruthless, he's brutal, he's just a killer. And so he throws the whole team's dynamic off, which is a very interesting writing point and makes the movie so much more interesting to watch. So really, the team in this movie is absolutely exceptional. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in Dead Reckoning with Hayley Atwell's character coming in. And the final thing I love about this movie, and it really should have gone first because I love it so much, the score by Lorne Balfe is absolutely insanely brilliant. It's one of my favorite scores ever. It's just epic and powerful, contemporary but also classical. And it's just incredible percussion, incredible brass sounds and strings. Everything about it is brilliant. It complements the feel of the movie, the personal feel and also the epic feel, and just so well, and improves the movie. It doesn't just add to it, improves on it, and with watching Mission Impossible Fallout without the soundtrack is basically watching just half of the movie. The soundtrack really adds so much to it. I can't possibly recommend Lorne Balfe's score for Mission Impossible Fallout enough. I've listened to it a billion times. I love it so much, and it's an integral part of what makes this movie great. So to conclude this video, there's really no reason why you shouldn't watch Mission Impossible Fallout. It's just the most awesome movie ever, and I think everyone should watch it to get a feel of what great action is. A lot of people these days are just being force-fed the latest Marvel movies, and in terms of action, they could be a lot better. Mission Impossible Fallout is a lesson in how to make action really big, but also use it sparingly. Have pauses where you can put emotional scenes. to sort of reinforce the plot elements. And just map it out, do great writing, have a good team, and great character development. Make it a personal movie in some way for your hero, and have a great score. And of course, I can't recommend that you all go see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 in cinemas as soon as it comes out. In the meantime, like and subscribe to Bombs Away. We're always making new videos. Hit the bell button so that you get notifications when brand new videos come in, which happens all the time. Down in the comments, tell me other movies which you think have great action scenes that I can watch, because I love action, and also I can analyze them and break them down and compare them. This series, which the series is called One Shots, this is the second video I'm doing, and again, it's about action sequences in spy franchises. The previous one was about a Bond movie. For the link to that, click up there. But I will be doing other stuff, like analyzing scripts and plots and comparing movies. So there's a whole lot of new content coming out on this series, as well as the other series that we've got going here at Bombs Away. So, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Fletcher Camino from Bombs Away.